day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today will be local nursery plant shopping at Plant Keeper Incorporated in Dallas, Texas. This is one of my favorite plant shops to go to. It's a massive nursery, and as always, plant foldies, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. You already know I love connecting with all of our plant foldies, and for those that are new, I call my viewers and subscribers Plant Foldie. Today is a Cultivation Corner collaboration. So I'm just going to go show you a couple of plants when we walk in here. This is a Syngonium Wallandii, and actually this is a plant that I gave the plant manager Garen a couple years back. I love that these Syngoniums have actually matured. Look at how beautiful the tri-lobe leaves have happened, have just grown. And today I will be accompanied by Janeé Simone and Steven at I Lift Plant. We're going to be asking each other questions and also showing you this beautiful hidden urban jungle for Dallas. Look at how huge those leaves are. And then over here is another plant. I believe I gave this Syngonium as well on the very right. And then we have a Monstera dubia as well as a Philodendron squamiferum right over here. This is Garen, the plant manager's personal collection, but I do love the fact that this has been here for a couple years now, and it's just nice to see that this place is actually more set up as like an actual jungle versus just a boutique type plant shop. So we're gonna see this little interview now. All right guys, this is Grow Folds, Richie at Grow Folds, and you already know we are doing a little collab video for Cultivation Corner. It's a collaboration again with Janeé Simone and also Steven at I Lift Plant. So they're just going to ask me a couple of questions. So yeah.
Okay, Richie, I want to ask you, whenever I brought the idea of Cultivation Corner to you and Steve, what was your first thoughts and what does it mean to you now?
I honestly thought it was brilliant because I'm not really good with a lot of just coming up with ideas, and I think it's really cool that you came up with Cultivation Corner. I think my idea of Cultivation Corner would be just like the whole plant community, the way you've explained it, the way I've kind of taken it into my mindset would be just cultivating friendships. When we first did our plant cultivation, collab, we ended up really just having a very organic interaction. Like there wasn't a lot of scripting, and for me, it's all about being organic and authentic on YouTube. So like cultivating friendships, it also plays on the word of cultivation, which is mostly like cultivating plants. So obviously that plant content is going to be where it's at. There's just a lot of meanings behind Cultivation Corner. I think it's going to be evolving. The same thing, how plants evolve and how things change. I think that's what makes this kind of content really inspiring and also just really fun to I guess watch. So.
Okay, awesome. And so with your channel, you do very fun and informative big box plant shopping tours in local nursery, which we all love. And you have created this community of plant foldies, which I love. And hello, plant foldies. And with that being said, what do you feel you bring to the plant community, like with your videos, and then also creating your own plant foldies as well?
I think the initial concept of like grow folds and plant foldies and just big box stores. So when you think about big box stores, that's something that's accessible. And throughout my videos, I always want to make sure that plants are accessible to anybody and everybody. When sometimes you look at some of the content that's out there, some plants are more niche, like rare aeroids, these plants that are super expensive. And I believe that plants should be accessible to anybody because that's what makes people that's what brings joy. And so like big box stores, they're readily available for everybody, and for the most part big box store plant pricing is affordable. It's one way to really get people just involved with plants in general. That's probably like the main reason why I do a lot of big box store plant shopping videos. And for the most part, big box stores carry more of the basic plants, and I say basic loosely because all plants have some requirements with care. But that's really what I bring to the table in terms of just plant content. It's just accessibility, just being genuine about what plant thoughts I have, those insights, so I could talk to you for about an hour. I love to talk. Just like Steven mentioned in his portion of the collab video, I don't really like how I sound, much less even wanting to show my face on YouTube. So it's something that's given me an opportunity to to a little bit be more out there. Now I know for you guys, if you interact with me in person, it's a totally different vibe. Like I'm really sociable, but when it comes to like social media, I tend to be a little bit more on the reserved side. So I'm still gonna say, you know, just be that mysterious voice that some people can't even figure out whether I'm a guy or a girl.
Well, we love the mysterious voice.
Love it. Love
Yes.
it. So speaking of your voice, right? You have some catchphrases on grow phones that I just love, and one of them is when you say Hydra Helix.
Hey!
I have to ask you, how did you come up with that? What started that?
So honestly, and I say this in all of my videos whenever I say Hydra Helix, I just really misread the scientific Latin name. I thought it was Hedra, and so I just kept on saying it, thinking that it was the correct way to say it. And obviously there was a plant foldy that corrected me, and I really liked that, but then it kind of stuck to it, because whenever I would just say Hedera Helix, it seemed a little bit dry, and I did get a lot of flack for it. You know, I got some comments about how it was very cringe, how some people had to like turn the volume down, and I'm open to like what would it say? Feedback is great. I always say feedback is a gift, but you have to take, you know, certain things to heart, and certain things you have to let brush off your shoulders. For me, and I say this in all of my videos, is just being authentic. You know, I mentioned that to you and Janeé too, as you guys do your YouTube videos. That's how you stay yourself, you know, keep yourself inspired. That's how you create your own brand. And although Hydra Helix may not be for everybody, it's something that is a plant foldy staple, and it's something that I want to just kind of keep in the channel.
Well, speaking of names that belong, Growfos is a name that belongs. I mean, it's so amazing. What inspired you to come up with the name Growfos?
So this is a really quirky thing, but number one, you know, in hindsight, it was never really intended, my YouTube channel was never really intended to be a plant channel. Like I've always grown plants. Like my grandmother taught me about plants when I was a kid, but I also love origami, and so it originally became an origami ASMR channel. Origami is something that I've done for the longest time. It was basically just holding paper cranes. You know, one of my biggest goals in life is to hold 1 million paper cranes. I've explained that on my YouTube channel, but the whole concept of calling it grow folds is literally grow is a part of just plants, and then folds is folding. But both folding origami or growing plants takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of care. It takes a lot of concentration, and so that's the reason why I call it grow folds. And then I just call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies, because obviously the majority of people that go to grow folds is, you know, a plant lover like myself. But then I also want to educate people about just origami, because I think those are things that also help with like mental health. You know, we utilize plants for like therapy. I utilize origami for de-stressing. You know, I sometimes can obsess about things. I think, to be fully transparent, that's why I utilize my YouTube channel. I spend about an hour to really just talk about plants, but the comments I've received from plant foldies about how it's relaxing, how people come off of work and they listen to just me talk, you know, that's really inspiring. So if I find some therapy with grow folds, I also want to make sure that I'm giving that same message to people that watch my videos. So.
Awesome. I got one last question for you. When are we getting a houseplant tour?
Yeah, we need that houseplant tour. We waiting.
Okay, so that is the burning question. It will be coming soon. I know I keep telling you guys that. I don't really want to string you guys along. Just know the plants you see in the plant shopping videos is pretty much what my plant shopping or what my house would potentially look like. I mean, Janeé has fabulous like plant styling. It's not at that level. And then Steven, he has some beautiful philodendron. I would just say I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview, maybe in some of my videos to come, but it is gonna eventually come, because you guys have been asking for it, and I want to make sure that I keep the plant foldies happy.
We can accept a preview.
Yes, I'll take a preview.
Oh wait, I want to ask. Wait, sorry, I have to edit that part out. Where is it? Okay. What other hobbies do you have aside from plants and origami?
Plants, aside from plants and origami, wow, that's that's kind of one of my main staples. I think traveling is a really cool thing. So I just recently went back to the Philippines, for instance, but I love traveling because I love just experiencing life. You know, we talk about we're floating on this one big rock that floats around the sun, and we have one life to live. And I think traveling is a great hobby. You know, it's crazy that even some people don't have passports, and that's just such a foreign concept to me because I've always been into traveling, whether it's international or local. And now that I am doing plant content, it also kind of ties back into what I want to do with plant tourism, but definitely traveling.
I love that. It's like all in one.
All in one.
Yes.
Can't complain about that.
Thank you, Richie.
Thanks, Richie.
And I really have to commend Janeé Simone and Plant Steven for just, you know, spending some time with me at one of my favorite plant nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and just asking me some interview questions. We are now known as the trio called Cultivation Corner, and we will be doing some podcasts, a lot of collabs. So stay tuned for that, plant foldies. I really like having plant friends that I can really relate to, especially Dallas-Fort Worth YouTubers. So if you are a plant influencer or somebody that does content on social media, please connect with me, please connect with us. We definitely want to connect with some more people in terms of just having a really strong social presence for the Dallas-Fort Worth plant community. But anyways, plant foldies, as you can see right here, Plant Keeper has a bunch of amazing totems. So these are basically how plants would naturally grow in the natural environment. If you notice right here, we've got a philodendron micans, and we often see philodendron micans, for instance, growing as like a hanging basket, a trailing hanging basket, but notice how large the leaves can get. And what I love about this plant nursery as well is just the diversity of plants that they have. Like this one is a Rhaphidophora foraminifera. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sometimes people will mistake it as like a Monstera adansonii, but it is actually a Rhaphidophora. Really like the look of it, and you can see that there are just little tiny holes, tiny fenestrations, but you can see right over here there are several plants in this 10-gallon planter. You can see that the aerial roots have literally wrapped around this actual pole, and you can see over here is another Rhaphidophora. This is a Rhaphidophora discorvia, also known as the dragon tail Rhaphidophora. I love that as well. Some people will mistake that as a Monstera. It is not. And you can see here, I don't know the plant ID for this, but this has been at this Plant Keeper nursery for several years now. You know, a little bit about this nursery. This is this used to be known as Scape Supply, and I remember stepping foot into this plant nursery about 5 years ago. So when I say that this is one of my favorite plant nurseries, the reason being is I have been shopping here for several years. The staff is amazing. Garen and the plants, they just know their plant care tips, and what's really cool is it's open to everybody. It's very laid back, it's very casual, it's not intimidating at all. I would say the only thing that's intimidating is how massive these plants are. I will tell you that there is not a single plant nursery in all of Dallas-Fort Worth that would have massive plants like this. A lot of times Plant Keeper is mistaken as a wholesaler nursery, but it is not. So if you ever just want to walk around in a hidden, and I would say hidden urban jungle, I would recommend going to Plant Keeper. I mean, you can see right here, look at these beautiful velvety leaves. These are philodendron micans, but they almost look like philodendron melanochrysum in the size of the leaves that they have. Beautiful velvet leaves. It's a very fast grower, and I do love plants that are on totems. I just think that is what these plants are meant to do. They're meant to climb, and you can see right over here, Janeé and Steven are filming some content. You know, what I really like about both individuals is Janeé is just a really kind person. I love her her plant content. So if you haven't already checked it out, definitely check out Janeé Simone's YouTube video. I really love her editing. She's got a very good grasp of plant styling and interior decorating with plants. And then Steven, I Live Plants, he was one of the first plant foldies I've ever met. And I'm actually honored that he said that he actually got on YouTube because he was inspired by some of my plant shopping videos. Steven is a really good friend of mine, and I love his content as well. It's more personalized on his plant collection. So if you haven't already, please definitely check out I Lift Plants. Steven, definitely support him. He needs just like 2,000 more watch time hours. So guys, let's go ahead and make sure we are watching through his videos. But anyways, going back to Plant Keeper Incorporated, notice how they have several different sizes of plants. So these are all of the 6-inch planters that they have. These are pearls and jade pothos. And then you can see right here, they've got a totem of Epipremnum aureum global green pothos. I've never really seen totems of Epipremnum aureum global green, but I mean, this is just so beautiful. And for those that are ever going to visit Dallas, especially those that are going to PlantCon 2024, highly recommend going to Plant Keeper. I would even say that this would be a perfect place to just tour if you just want like a whole planty day. I mean, look at that. Hoya macrophylla variegata, beautiful plant. And then they also have this 5.5-inch planter, Peperomia guinea. Now with Peperomia guinea, for instance, plant foldies, this is a plant that is more succulent. It's similar to succulents. It can tolerate a little bit more lower watering conditions. And if you sun stress it, which means give it a lot of light, more so than it really needs, it will actually have some beautiful red margins or red borders around its leaves. But you can see here, this is a Schefflera bonsai, and this is basically an umbrella tree that has been shaped into a bonsai. You can see that the branches have actually hardened. And then over here, we've got some bromeliads. So bromeliads, plant foldies, again, come in so many varieties of shapes, colors, sizes. And they are really located in, a lot of times at big box stores, but you can see this nursery has it. And then this is another Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos. I do like this pothos. The only thing about lemon meringue pothos, and I've mentioned this before, is you have to give it quite a bit of light for it to really push out the yellow variegation. Otherwise, it's going to be more so green. And then we have another beautiful bromeliad here. Notice how it's got a beautiful pink bloom. And I mentioned this in all my videos. I love pink flowers. I love white flowers. I love pink plants. And you can see why I am more interested in bromeliads these days. You know, when I first started doing my plant shopping videos at big box stores, I always posed the question of, why are there so many bromeliads? And I can totally understand why. I mean, they are a beautiful plant. And once you start to really go into some of the more uncommon rare ones, those are super cool. But as I walk over here, plant foldies, you can see we have even more plants that are in 6-inch planters. So they have some more variegated plants. Now, these are Philodendron Pink Princess. And again, with Philodendron Pink Princess, I would tell you, like, this one right here is highly variegated, beautiful specimen for a Philodendron Pink Princess. Find one that has some really good variegation right off the bat, because if you don't, it may not push out nearly as much variegation as you want. And then over here, we've got a beautiful blooming anthurium, just the green form that you will see at big box stores as well. And then over here, we have an Aglonema Silver Bay in an 8-inch planter. What I like about Plant Keeper, and you will see this later in the video, is there are a lot of aglonemas, large size aglonemas. And check out this Philodendron Brantianum on a totem. Look at how large the leaves are, and it's just an urban jungle. It's a perfect paradise. And you know, when you talk about plants and the healing properties of plants, growing plants, Janeé and Steven and I talked about how plants really do help people heal. It's really good for your mental health. And I would say, if you ever need to just pause and really just ground yourself, center yourself, look at plants. Go to places that have plants. Like if, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit stressed, I just look around at my plants. I will visit a plant nursery like Plant Keeper and just walk around. Don't feel like you're obligated to have to buy a plant. Sometimes just enjoying the foliage, enjoying the colors really centers us. And that's something that I did want to talk about, is just making sure that we take care of our mental health, that we are kind to each other, and that we are kind to our plants. Like you can clearly see that Plant Keeper is definitely kind to its plants, because look at how lush and full and beautiful every single plant is. Now, a couple of things to keep plants healthy and for their pest prevention. They do use natural pest prevention. They've got some beneficial insects that will destroy some of these pests, as well as geckos. So I think that's super cool. But you can see as I pan around, when you first walk into Plant Keeper, there's just so many different plants. Like, it's really hard to just go to each and every one of them. I could literally spend hours going through each plant, but you can see right here, for instance, Dracaena marginana colorama. This is another larger plant. Normally you'll see that at a big box store in a 6-inch planter, but notice how it is in a 10-gallon planter here. We've got a Ficus umbellata. This one is a ficus plant that I kind of struggled with. I feel like I didn't give it enough light, as well as I didn't water it nearly as much. So I've kind of moved it to a different space. It's now facing my west facing window, and I water it a little bit more frequently. And then over here, Monstera lecheriana. Love this Monstera. Some people will also mistaken this as a Monstera adansonii, and you can see how large the leaves are. They're larger than my hand. That's because it's actually grown and attached onto a wooden plank. Again, all of these plants that we grow in our house typically are what you call epiphytes, or plants that want to attach and climb onto a surface. And so if you do give it its like moss pole or some type of plank, you are really going to encourage the plant to grow naturally. A lot of times we look at hanging baskets and things of that nature, but you'll never really get the full potential of the plant. And that's the thing I love about Plant Keeper is if you're ever curious about that big box store plant you bought from Costa Farms, Live Trends, or Urban Jungle and see its mature form, I would definitely go to Plant Keeper. It's really interesting actually, plant foldies, that a lot of people were not aware of Plant Keeper. If you do go, please say hello to the staff. They are super kind. Tell them you're a plant foldy, you watch Grow Folds, and they will definitely have a good time just talking to you about plants. But as you can see right here, beautiful, beautiful bromeliads. I love all of the pink foliage, and honestly, that is the type of plant I want to add. I actually am thinking about maybe displaying bromeliads on a wall, kind of just horizontal or vertical in that sense. We'll see if I can do that, because I am starting to get inspired to do some more plant styling. And I would say I would source out a lot of my bromeliads from Plant Keeper. They have some large foliage ones. I mean, look at how gorgeous it is. It really looks like a botanical garden, but it's one that you can literally pick up a plant, and for the most part, you can buy them. The thing I will say about Plant Keeper is before you buy a plant, they're going to ask you a couple of questions about like your lighting conditions, what care tips that they can offer, and really vet out whether they would possibly sell a plant or maybe recommend something else. I appreciate that, because when you think about big box stores, and this isn't anything negative about big box stores, you know, I talked to Janeé and Steven about it. Big box stores, they are literally in the business to sell. That's what retail is. So when it comes to the plants, they just want to go through and sell as many plants, whether that person is really educated about the plant care or not. That's, you know, another story. But at Plant Keeper, they're definitely going to give you all the resources and care tips in order for you to really have a better grasp of the plant that you're going to pick up. And I love that a lot. I mean, the fact that they have so many different plants ranging from aeroids to succulents and cactus, outdoor gardening plants, they have all of it here, and they have the knowledge to be able to really educate anybody that's into plants. You don't have to be a plant expert to walk into Plant Keeper Incorporated. I would just say make sure you have an open mind, make sure you are willing to learn, because that's the thing about plant success. We are always learning. And that's the thing, plant foldies. Like I utilize again my plant shopping videos to really just give you my plant insights. It's really my plant therapy, to be honest, because not only do I enjoy the process of filming plants, I mean, look at this Monstera Thai constellation, for instance, but I also get to just kind of tell you my thoughts. I feel like even though I don't get to have a full-on conversation with all of our viewers and subscribers at Grow Folds, I feel like I can provide some type of company for that person that may not have plant friends, or the person that might just need to hear somebody talk about plants while they do their plant chores. Totally get it. I also do that whenever I'm watering my plants. I kind of listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video about plants. But going back to Plant Keeper, the cool thing about our collab that we had with Janeé Simone and Steven is we really got to bounce a lot of ideas of what we want to do with Cultivation Corner. So definitely Plant Foldies, look for that. And I definitely want to encourage everybody to go to Janeé Simone and Steven's YouTube channels. They have some phenomenal plant content. I love the realness, the raw footage that they have. And it's just nice to connect Dallas plant YouTubers together. But to go back to this, if you notice, they've got a Schefflera right here. This is a Schefflera amate, beautiful umbrella plant. It's one that gets actually very tall. It can become a full-blown tree. And then we also have a Ficus lyrata over here, or a fiddle fig leaf. Notice how so much light goes through, that these plants are literally thriving. It is literally a little bit more on the humid side when you actually walk in. So be prepared for it to be a little bit warm. But you know what? This space is not meant for just humans. It's literally made, they really make sure that it's actually the environment that plants need to thrive. And that goes with the whole plant care tips. When I went to the Philippines, and I say this in every video because I am proud to be Filipino, my family's originally from the Philippines. So when we went to the Philippines for vacation, I saw all of these plants, like this Ficus Audrey. It was a full-blown tree, 20 to 30 feet tall, growing in full sun. So our plant care tips in the western part of the world, or at least in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, is really to cater to the plant, trying to get the natural environment for a plant. So whether it's humidity, lighting conditions, watering conditions, that way it has a better shot of actually growing. And now, Plant Foldies, tell me if you've ever seen a philodendron pink princess this large. And I featured this before, but for those that are new to the channel, look at how gorgeous a philodendron pink princess looks when it actually grows naturally in its habitat, when it's attached. And in this massive Madagascar palm, I mean, that is huge. And the cool thing about Madagascar palm is I didn't realize that it actually blooms as well. You can see that the trunk has spikes, but look at that right there. Really, really like that as well. That is a plant though that definitely needs quite a bit of light. And then we have another type of succulent plant here. We've got some type of bird's nest anthurium here, and I did recently receive some import plants from Green Spaces ID or Indonesia, and I ended up getting a free plant from them in anthurium. And I am about anthurium, like I really like anthuriums and may want to collect more. I just want to make sure that I can provide them with a little bit more humidity. But going back to these philodendron pink princess totems, like look at how massive it is and how absolutely stunning this plant is. Like I love it a lot. And then over here is a philodendron beneficillum, or what you would call the philodendron horsehead philodendron. I love this one as well. And a couple years back, this used to be more of an uncommon plant, but you can see that when you let it grow on a totem, and there's probably several strands of it, there's actually a philodendron Florida green as well in there. Notice how the stems get a little bit more woody and the leaves change into the more mature form. You can see that it's already reached the top of the totem, so it's probably going to need a chop. But if you let it continue to attach its aerial roots or let it wrap around something, the plant seems more secure. The aerial roots actually provide more nutrients to the plant. Therefore, the plant is able to actually get larger leaves. And that's the reason why you want to see if you can get your plants to climb. I mean, look at how massive that is. I love it, and I love the leaf shape of it. Now, I have two forms of the philodendron beneficillum. I have the green form like this one, and look at how those aerial roots have literally wrapped around. And then I have the golden violin one, where it's more of the yellowish color. And I'm excited to finally get the variegated one. I pre-ordered it for PlantCon from Green Spaces ID, so I'm really excited about that. And then you can see here, look at how massive. Have you ever seen a pink leaf this large? It's larger than my hand. Beautiful philodendron pink princess. And again, these are totems that, you know, they will just not sell for anybody. You got to really make sure you have the space, because you got to think about how much time it took to actually grow these philodendron right here. But you know, if I had the space in my home, I would definitely try to buy one. I do have a couple of plants in my personal collection where I'm going to try to grow them to that size. We'll see if I have that luck. But I mean, that is just an absolutely stunning philodendron pink princess. And then over here, plant foliage, you can see they've got some more ficus. So this is a ficus Audrey, and I recently bought a ficus Audrey again. I think it's a beautiful ficus. Now with all ficus, and I mentioned this in all of my videos, make sure you provide it with quite a bit of bright indirect light, or if you're able to acclimate it to where you give it bright indirect light and eventually put it out in full sun, it is really gonna give you the best growth. They really need that. You know, anything that's ficus, just remember that it's going to need to have quite a bit of light in order for it to really thrive. That's really the natural environment. And if you're able to give your ficus plants some more humidity, that's really when they start to take off. But you know, this philodendron pink princess, it started to take off. I know that both Steven and Janeé, when we were looking at this philodendron pink princess, we all agreed that it was massive and absolutely stunning. And that is the beauty of looking at Plant Keeper Incorporated. I want to spread more awareness about these houseplants that we have in 6-inch planters and really showcase what they look like in the actual natural habitats. Like, I don't think a lot of people will really see sizes of these plants, but that's the reason why I think it's important for us to really see what a plant's potential could be, rather than to just keep them entrapped in like a 6-inch planter, a 4-inch planter. But you know, that really just comes to show that in order for these plants, like this Selum or Tomathophyllum, whichever one you want to call it, these are plants that only got to this size because they had the ideal growing conditions and obviously the space, which is actually exciting because if I ever want to just have an urban jungle as escapade, I can just go to Plant Keeper Incorporated. Now, people ask me, you know, what the plant pricing is. I would tell you the plant pricing is within range of the typical local plant nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, obviously these totems right here, look at that. I love neon plants. They're gonna be a little bit more pricey because you have to think they had to source it out from a plant supplier, and then just the sheer massiveness of the plant. Philodendron fuzzy petiole, beautiful plant. I love the crinkly leaves, and then also obviously the fuzzy petiole. Really like the look of that, and you can see those aerial roots are really just wanting to attach onto something. That's just super exciting. I also like that red little sheath that it has before it actually unfurls. And then this is another one of my favorite philodendron, which I will get because I like its climbing form. Like literally, it's several plants wrapped around a totem. This is a philodendron lemon lime, and you can see that the leaves at the very top that are a little bit more yellow because they receive a little bit more light. Now, if you have anything neon colored, the more light you provide a neon plant, the better the coloration is going to be. If you don't provide it enough light, it definitely will not be as neon colored as you know, a neon plant if it were to get actual light. And then you can see here, we've got a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. Most people will actually mistaken this as a mini monstera. It is not a mini monstera. It is a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. That is another plant that wants to climb up. And it's interesting because Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, you really can't put it in a hanging basket. Like its stems will really harden and try to climb up. And then notice this, look at that. That is what you call a sport variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. That's really interesting. I wonder if they would actually try to propagate it. And that's the cool thing about, you know, variegation is sometimes Mother Nature just has random occurrences. Now, it's interesting as well to note that a lot of these really variegated plants have now been induced by humans by just genetically altering them somehow. I don't know all the details about it, but that's the reason why we see all of these really cool variegated plants. Some of it is really just genetically induced by humans, but in nature, variegation is actually a mutation. It's uncommon, and honestly, variegation doesn't give a plant nearly as much I guess chance of survival, because you got to think a variegated plant is not nearly as vigorous of a grower as some plant that has mostly green foliage. That's because the green foliage actually gives the plant more ability to photosynthesize and feed itself. You know, anything that's variegated, that like white cream part doesn't help the plant photosynthesize. So just wanted to give you a little bit more insight on that. And then you can see plant folies all over here. We've got so many different plants. I don't know what that particular plant is right in the middle here. It might be some sort of Scindapsus. I don't know. It looks kind of like a Scindapsus. It really looks cool though. I like some of that silvery streaks that it has. And then this is a philodendron tripartitum. Tripartitum, I think that's how you pronounce it. Tripartitum, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yep, it looks almost like a syngonium or a mature version of a syngonium where it has those trilobes. You know, that is another plant that has attached itself on a totem. I honestly might save some money and buy one of the totems from Plant Keeper Incorporated at some point, because I have a space where I can put one in the corner. And then you can see right here, I always love looking at this. This is a philodendron red imperial. Some people will mistake this as a philodendron black cardinal. It is not. And then this one right here is an Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. And you know, you think about that normal pothos plant you see at a big box store. This is what it looks like when it is actually in nature. Look at how massive the leaves are. And I love the fact that it can also fenestrate. Now, when I was in the Philippines, these got even larger than most plants will ever see. That is just one that I think you have to really go to like a tropical country or a place where it's a natural environment to see that. I mean, these are pretty large leaves, but trust me, these pothos plants can go up to like 30 to 40 feet, climb up a tree and really get the leaves to even like fenestrate. And for those that don't know what fenestrating means, it means that the leaf is actually splitting to give more light to the bottom leaves. And then again, right over here, plant foliage, we've got a bunch of Ficus audrey. The thing about Ficus audrey is, look at that right here. It shot out a aerial root, and you can see that it is in a 14-inch planter, I believe. And these are full-blown trees. Now, I have one growing on my west-facing window in my master bedroom. I'm hoping that I can grow this into a full-blown tree. And then over here again, we have an Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. What a beautiful looking pothos. I definitely need this in my collection. And you can see this is another philodendron tripartitum. This one almost looks like a syngonium, I'm telling you, but you can see how it is already root bound in here. Actually, the roots are, the aerial roots is probably what's feeding this plant in addition to the bottom roots in the soil. But you can see that it is definitely living its best life. And then over here, we've got a philodendron silver sword. This is the wide form. I love the silver sword as well. It is another one of those plants that I would say 4 or 5 years ago used to be uncommon. Actually, a lot of philodendron varieties were a little harder to find. They were a little bit more challenging to find for a good price. Now you can find them, you know, at big box stores or local plant nurseries. I will say philodendron is definitely one of my plant genuses that I would like to continue to collect, because for the most part, their care tips are very similar. They're easy to care for. And they're readily available. You know, it's always nice to be able to select plants that are readily available. That way you don't have to worry about having to order them online. You can just go to like a local plant nursery like Plant Keeper Incorporated like this. But plant foldies, let me know what you guys think so far of the plants. If you are traveling to Dallas, would you visit this place? I definitely want to know. As far as them shipping plants, I don't think they are able to ship. So that's, you know, a common question that people ask. But you can visit them. They're pretty much open, I think, every day. You might want to just check their website. But yeah, that's something I would tell you is when you go to Plant Keeper, the film or just my video alone, like look at that right there. Actually, all of those aerial roots have just wrapped around the philodendron squamiferum right there. But to go back to it, it's really overwhelming. I would say on film, these plants may not be as massive as you might think, but when you walk in person, it is literally a full-on jungle. And that's the thing, you know, I was telling Janeé, this was her first time actually visiting this this place, how it was just massive. Now this is interesting. This is a global green pothos. You never really see global green pothos get leaves that size. The thing about global green though is when it does grow up a totem pole, it doesn't have nearly as great variegation. And I don't know if it's because it just didn't get enough like light. That is the only drawback about the green on green variegation for a pothos plant. They're not as like pronounced as some of the other pothos varieties. Now over here, we also have the traditional Monstera deliciosa. I really like the look of that as well. You know, some people find that now as a basic plant, but I love basic because basic means it's not complicated. And when it's not complicated, the plant's probably going to give you a lot more joy. It's going to be easier for you to take care of the plant. Now, philodendron green imperial, beautiful philodendron right over here, huge. And then this one is a Monstera Thai constellation. Really like the look of it. And you know, we've been seeing this a lot. All right, Janeé and Steven. So I've been walking around looking at plants. Can you guys tell me, what do you think about?
Is this a global?
Yes, it's a global green.
I've seen big leaves like on a global before.
Yeah, I noticed that too. With the global green though, I've noticed that as it goes up a pole, it doesn't really get that green on green variegation. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It just reverted.
So
It just reverted.
I
So
actually have big leaves on my global green, a little bit bigger than that, and they all reverted at the top. So I got some cuttings and put them in new soil and everything, and literally still could not get the variegation from what it used to be. It almost looked like a jade pothos to me.
I don't mind the jade pothos, but the thing about global green, it is an extremely slow growing pothos.
It is.
So,
I was just staring at mine this morning. It needs to be watered.
oh
But
my
it does
gosh.
blink though, right?
Does it? It does.
Well, mine does. Well, mine is right by the window, and literally it's in the self-watering pot, and every 7 days, like clockwork, it needs water, and the leaf feels very thin.
Yeah,
You know, when it's dry. You know, so it feels, you know, you can actually tell by the touch.
the touch. Yeah. So I was gonna say, we have some small plants here. Like, Steven, what do you think Janeé should possibly be
right, because-
plant
Come
influence?
home with a small plant. We're not saying go Monstera now.
I mean, the Monstera, she could do another one. We got her last time.
Absolutely not.
She could do another one. Mulligan needs a friend.
What about a Birkin?
You have Birkin though.
Yeah.
She got Birkin. She need a tornado.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with mine.
You have it
My
in
leaves
pine?
are almost. My leaves.
Wow.
I think my biggest leaf has reached this yet.
Is this an anthurium? Is this an anthurium?
Yeah.
So I'm scared of anthurium because they need water, don't they? And humidity.
No. Okay, believe it or not, mine. Okay, you might want to speak to yours, but mine I water maybe every 10 to 14 days.
That's still a lot of water for me. I'm sorry.
Richie needs once a month.
A drought. Once a month.
Dude, you need a cacti.
What is this? Oh my God. Do you have a red sun?
I was just looking at the one
I got one.
Janae need this one. She need this
Yes,
one.
get the other
she
one.
need
Really
this
cute.
one. It is cute. Look at
I'm
that.
buying one.
It's gorgeous.
I might need to get one. Should we just all get a red sun?
It is.
We should, but then this one's yours. And
We'll
then
go figure it out. We'll figure it
there's
out.
not another one for me.
No, there's something in the corner.
You can find the red sun in here. It's somewhere.
Today. What should Janeé get today?
I want to see outside.
Y'all want to go see? We want to go outside in a minute. What do you have to say about this carry eye?
It's absolutely stunning and it's blooming. And mine is I actually just purchased my first carry eye.
Did you get the variegated one from Kroger? Did you get it or
I
no?
wasn't able to find one. It's just a
The green one? It's okay.
Yeah.
Green is, everybody needs to love green. Steven,
Yes.
what about that Monstera Thai?
I mean, I'm trying to get mine to look like that. Look at this.
I have one that looks like that.
see.
It's not been seen.
Really?
I have one that's bigger than that.
What?
Yes. I've had it for about 4 years. You know how y'all are asking for the home tour? It's not
Come on.
ready.
Are you serious?
Yes, I will send you a photo.
we need a cultivation corner up backstage. picture
Backstage.
of that.
Yes.
Yes.
It's bigger.
Yeah, it's bigger.
Where is it? Like,
It's in the corner of my living room. I promise y'all, like, yes,
Yeah,
it's huge. It's huge.
So,
But what are y'all thoughts about Monstera Thais?
I love it.
Okay.
You know, that was my first sort of, what do you call, specialty plant?
Yeah.
Right? That was the first one I got. And I purchased it for $90 at Callaway's.
Yep.
2 weeks later, they were at Kroger's for like 35, 40 bucks.
Yep, I messaged you. I was like, you should have returned that at
And
Callaway's.
they would not take it back.
Oh,
So,
that's
but anyway, I'm happy. Listen, Callaway's, I'm happy with the plant. It looks great. I'm trying to get it to grow like that, but I am a huge fan of Tycon. It was my first wish list plant when I started collecting plants, and I finally got one, and mine is thriving.
And then just look at all of this right over here too.
So the silver stripe.
There was a silver stripe?
Yeah.
What? Or is it
total.
Brazil? No, it's a Brazil. Or is it silver stripe?
I don't.
It's something.
It might be a Brazil. I'm looking at these leaves here.
Yeah.
That kind of give you that point, but
Yeah.
it could be a Brazil. You might be right about that. I have a Brazil and a silver stripe right next to each other at my house, and this is amazing on the total.
I need all of
I
this.
remember I left my tripod. I forgot my purse.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. It's always a riot to be hanging out with Janeé Simone and Steven. You know, we have a good time. So now we're going to be walking outside and looking at the outdoor section of Plant Keeper. It's actually a lot of the plants that are just more sun loving and light loving. So you can see right here they do have a shade cloth of some sort to just filter some of the light. But if you notice on the right, they have a Schefflera plant, but it's actually growing in full sun. So you can see that that plant has probably matured to the point where it's acclimated to its natural environment. And then over here we've got some alocasias, for instance. Now they're a little bit more yellow, and it's not because they're unhealthy, it's just that they've gotten sun stress and gotten a little bit more light than they are really used to. But you can see here, it's just a nice little garden section here. So they've got some hibiscus, tropical hibiscus. They've got some fern. They've got some bird of paradise. They've got some banana trees. It's giving me jungle vibes. And look at this massive plumeria here. Now, plumeria can become full-blown trees. They have very fragrant blooms. Like, look at how beautiful that is. I wish I could grow plumeria into a full-blown tree. When I was in the Philippines, they were getting up to like 15 to 20 feet in height, and they just have beautiful fragrant blooms. And then over here we do have let's see, a ficus lyrata. We've got more euphorbia right over here. And I like this euphorbia. The more light you give it, the darker the euphorbia will be. We've got a devil's backbone variegated right over here. We've got a cellum or a tomathophyllum right here. Those were so massive when I was in a tropical country like the Philippines. You can see that these are pretty massive as well. So they're living their best life. And I will say, as much light as that they are receiving, these plants are really loving it. I am surprised though that these plants are handling the 100-degree weather of Texas. This is the only challenge of growing plants, at least in my grow zone, which is 8B. These tropical plants do like warm, but sometimes when you get into the 100 degrees, it gets to be a little bit toasty and it ends up killing the plants. It just ends up burning them. But as you can see here, these plumerias are loving it. Janeé's filming some more of that right over there. And you know, Steven was just walking around looking at all of these plants. As far as our future podcast, Cultivation Corner, please leave in the comments what type of topics you guys want us to talk about. They're going to be 30-minute episodes, so I hope that you guys can tune in, and they're going to be episodes that will be uploaded on my channel, Steven's channel, and Janeé's channel, so you'll definitely be able to go through all of our channels. I do encourage any plant foldie to make sure that you are subscribed to their channels, support them by watching, because at the end of the day, we are one big plant community, and I want to see everybody win and succeed. I know that me getting 10,000 subscribers was a huge feat for me to accomplish, and I never really expected that. Like plant foldies, I'm literally filming plants, walking around and just telling you my thoughts. But if 10,000 of you guys want to tune in daily to watch that, I will continue to do that for many, many years. And even if you don't, I feel like this is just part of my routine now. You know, showing you places like Plant Keeper. I mean, take a look at that. That is another fan palm I like, plus pothos. And then this is so cute. I love Philodendron Hope. It's more of like a ground cover. It doesn't really get tall, but look at the texture of the leaves. It's just a green plant right next to a potato vine. Really like that. I think this is, I don't know the plant name. I know that it has like a caudex, some type of like potato plant. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Leave that in the comments if you know the plant ID. Like I said, again, I am not an expert when it comes to plants. For the most part, I feel like I know quite a bit of plant IDs, but that one is something that we wanted, that I'm not familiar with. But plant foliage, as you can see right here, they do have a shade cloth over just so that it filters some of the sunlight. It's still getting quite a bit of light. I would say 90% of the light is still shining through. And I wanted to point this out. I should have bought this alocasia a while back. This is such a beautiful alocasia. They call this alocasia the alocasia golden bone. And what I like about it is not only does it have a really nice front part of the leaf, but the backside where it's purple is absolutely stunning. Now, as far as alocasias, they are one of the more challenging plants. I would say they are not a beginner plant because they do require quite a bit of humidity. They need warmth because if you don't give them warm conditions, they may think that it's cold and they want to go dormant. And they are a little bit more spider mite prone. They're just pest. They're a little bit more pest prone. Now, if you're going to grow alocasia outside in a shaded area, they tend to do better. I am trying to grow some of my alocasia. I'm converting it to semi-hydroponics, which would be pon. And right now I don't have pon, so I am growing a couple of my alocasia in leca to see if that'll make it a little bit easier for me because alocasias tend to be a little bit more finicky about their watering as well. Now, this is another beautiful Ficus elastica shivriana. That used to be such an uncommon ficus plant. I remember one leaf, one node cutting could be $150 to $200 about 4 years ago, and now you can find them at local plant nursery. So I will say, if you ever want a plant that's uncommon, like I'm going to put out a couple of plants, like philodendron, variegated billietiae, something of that nature, alocasias that are variegated. Give it another year or two. Plant pricing will always go down because all of these plants are going to be more readily available. It's just basic economics. If there's a high demand for an item, but there's not as many items to go for the demand, it's just going to have a higher price value. Also, I feel like if we refuse to pay for those insane prices, sellers are going to have to go down. Does that mean I don't want to, support, local businesses? It's not that. It's just that sometimes the prices are just insane to the point where, plant foldies, we wouldn't be able to afford that. We have other priorities besides plants, or at least I do. I don't know if you just spend all of your salary into plants. I feel like sometimes I do, but as far as the rare plants are concerned, we just want to make sure that we're responsible about it. And that's the thing, plant foldies. If you are going to PlantCon 2024, I know Janeé Simone and I are going to be there. We are doing a plant meetup at PETA's Planters booth at 11 a.m. I hope to see you guys all over there. Maybe, the plant keeper might be there as well. I'm not sure, but hopefully we can see some of the staff there because look at how beautiful these plants are. Like, this is another beautiful ficus of some sort. Not sure what that is. And then we also have more plants right over here. This one is in Aurelia, just a green form. And then over here is a Ficus melanie. So that's another ficus plant I want to get. I want to actually shape some of my Ficus elastica into bend it and kind of get it more of like a Japanese bonsai type aesthetic. As far as my house is concerned, I really want like a modern contemporary with influences of Japanese culture. I've mentioned this in my previous videos. The reason why I call my plant channel Grow Folds is because it was originally an origami ASMR channel. I do origami paper crane folding daily. I've been doing it for about 7 years, going on 8, with the hopes of folding 1 million paper cranes. So that's just a little bit more about me. I know you guys have asked to give some more tidbits about me because everybody's wondering when I'm going to do a face reveal. It might be at the very end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this video. But anyways, plant foldies, what do you think about the outdoor section? And we're just gonna go back inside and just look at a couple more plants here and then see what else we have over here. Now, if you want to see more in-depth coverage of Plant Keeper Incorporated, I do have it on the playlist for local Dallas plant nursery, so definitely check it out. This is one of my favorite Dracaenas. This is a Dracaena Tornado. I bought one from Plant Keeper. Mine is doing extremely well and it's getting even taller. And then you can see over here, Plant Foldies, we have quite a bit of like totems. Really like the look at that. I mean, I want a Philodendron Micans on a totem. This is a beautiful Philodendron Red Imperial. Really like the look of that, and look at that natural shine on it. I prefer plants that are like this as well, just because I don't have to worry so much about growing them up a totem pole or moss pole. So you can see that there are different types of philodendrons, and these philodendrons have different types of growth patterns or growth habits. Now Philodendron Micans, it's definitely a plant that wants to climb, and I want my Philodendron Micans to climb. Currently it is just trailing down my kitchen window. And here's another Philodendron lupinum. It kind of looks like a Philodendron Micans. This is another Philodendron I don't see often. I would say some of the yellowing or tips of the yellowing might be because it just needs a little bit more humidity, or maybe the water quality. I'm not 100% sure. I do know that Plant Keeper Incorporated does their very best to give them the optimal conditions. I mean, some plants are just a little bit more finicky in general. Like I think even when you give it like that greenhouse, growing conditions, nothing will beat the actual native environments of some of these plants. I'm gonna walk up the stairs right over here. They have a little bit of a ladder just to show you how massive this place is. Look at how large this is. Doesn't it look like you're just on a cliffside in a jungle? Again, Plant Foldies, if you have never been to Plant Keeper Incorporated, please make a visit here. I urge anybody to take a trip here. It's really easy to find and their staff is super friendly. I've always enjoyed going here. This is my natural paradise, my escape from just the stresses of the world. And you can buy some really cost-effective plants here, both big, massive, and small. So there's a plant for you here. And then a lot of their plants too are easy to care for plants. I would say they've even got some Sansevieria or snake plants right over here. They've got some Ficus lyrata. So if you really want a large fiddle fig leaf tree, you definitely can buy it here. I do know that they also can deliver, so you're just gonna have to set that up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You know, I thought about getting a massive ficus plant, but the thing is, I don't really have high ceilings in my my house. So the space constraints becomes a problem. I mean, look at that beautiful Dracaena. I actually like the size of that. It may eventually buy that. And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't want to grow plants and take a while to grow plants. You sometimes want to just have it already grown. Like I wouldn't mind buying a rhaphis palm like this. I've talked about how I love rhaphis palms. I did get to see a variegated rhaphis palm in the Philippines, but even the green variety is beautiful. And a rhaphis palm doesn't have to have nearly as much light as a typical palm. We've got some more Monstera deliciosas right over here. And we've got even more snake plants. We've got more aglaonemas. We've just got all sorts of plants. So Plant Foldies, I don't know what you think about the plants, but all I do know is that these plants are readily available. You can go to Plant Keeper Incorporated. You can hang out here, buy plants, talk plants, all of that. Like this one right here, I probably need to go buy this. This is a Dracaena. Aglaonema Spring Snow, beautiful plant. Look at how high the variegation is. And then we also have a Aglaonema Ruby. I ended up buying this Aglaonema Ruby right here from Plant Keeper. It's doing extremely well. With Aglaonema Ruby though, the more light you give it, the more ruby color it's gonna have. And then what else do we have here, Plant Foldies? We've got some ZZ plants, the regular ZZ plant or the Raven ZZ plant in these sizes. Now these sizes are not common. You can't really find them at like big box stores. And then we have another large Dracaena Tornado. So if you like Dracaena Tornado like me, like look at how awesome that is. And it is more low light tolerant, drought tolerant, as well as this one right here, Aglaonema Silver Bay, low light tolerant, drought tolerant. And I've never seen an Epiprimnum pinnatum skeleton keys on a totem. This is so stunning. Look at how beautiful that is. I think they're selling this totem maybe for $400, which honestly is not a bad deal. It almost looks like an Alocasia stingray, but you notice how the leaves have changed to the mature form. It does look like little skeleton keys. Really like that a lot, and that is another wish list plant of mine. If I had the money, that would probably be the totem I would buy. And then right here, Epiprimnum aureum neon pothos, just the neon green variety. One of my favorite pothos, one that I would definitely want to add to my collection. And then you can just see right here, Epiprimnum pinnatum skeleton keys, absolutely stunning. Really like the look of it as well. Look at that. It is just it's an easy to care for plant, but you'll see trending tropical plants where it doesn't have the mature leaf of it. It's just kind of like a narrow shaped leaf. And then right over here, we have some more beautiful neon colored dracaenas. We've got a totem of a Philodendron hederaceum Brazil. That's super cool. And look at how large those Brazil leaves are. You know, that's something we see at a big box store. Definitely not the size of the leaves though. If you notice, the trend is if a plant grows on a totem pole or moss pole, it's going to have larger leaves because that's really the natural way the plant grows in nature. And then you can see over here again, some more of those Epipremnum, Pinnatum, skeleton keys. I am in love with it. Plant foliage, have you ever seen the mature version of that? Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. You know, again, I love all of the insights you guys provide. So just make sure if you see something you like, if you have a question about plant care, let me know. Here's an Epipremnum aureum, pearls and jade in a 6-inch planter. Really like the look of that. You know, I'm all about pothos plants as well. I encourage anybody that is a beginner plant lover or plant collector to get pothos plants. Most people will end up getting the golden pothos as their first house plant. I can see why, because it is such an easy to care for plant. And plant folies, I hope you guys are enjoying so far all of the beautiful plants at Plant Keeper. Notice how all of these plants are super healthy, super lush, super full. I can't say anything but great things about Plant Keeper Incorporated. They have been very kind to me for the last 5 years. I mean, right here, Aglaonema Golden Madonna. Look at how massive that is. Such a beautiful plant. And it would take quite a bit of time to actually grow an Aglaonema that size because Aglaonemas are very slow growing plants. It is one of my favorite plants, but I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks of an Aglaonema is they take a while to grow. But you can see here, we are deep into the jungle. This is definitely an urban jungle right here. We've got more dracaenas. We've got some more Phalaenopsis orchids. We've got some more palms right here, or actually Dracaena marginatas, excuse me. And then we have this massive Rhapis palm. We've got another massive Philodendron brantianum. I'm looking at these Aglaonema silver bays as well. There's just so many plants to pick from. So I'm just gonna keep walking around and panning out some more of these plants for you. And you can see there's just a lot of plants that you can walk through. So Plant Folies, I hope you've enjoyed it so far of all of the little walking tour that I have, like this massive Monstera Thai constellations. You still don't see these as big as you would at any big box store or local nursery. But if you want to see one, you can go to Plant Keeper Incorporated. But anyways, we're going to just look at some more shots of Janeé and Steven. My friend Janeé brought me a Philodendron Burley Marks in Lecca for my birthday, August 7th, and I was really thankful for that. She was filming me. I really like the look of that. She was so sweet to give us that. And then actually the staff of Plant Keeper gave us some free gifts as well. So Plant Keeper, John and Rachel and Garen are just super kind because they said as a token of gratitude, they don't owe us anything, but they are thinking about cuttings. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Super excited to have visited Plant Keeper again. As always, guys, please make sure you're hitting the like button, subscribing to my YouTube channel, Grow Folds, and checking out Janeé and Steven's videos. I'll see you on the next one.